Santa Claus, the last of the wild man. Check out this book. Yes, they are saying Santa Claus is a wild man, is a Bigfoot, is a Sasquatch, is a missing link. Now, some of you should already know St. Nicholas, Krampus, similar spirit, similar origin, but this book goes into details of it. Did you know that there are stories of wild man in the Caribbean? That a lot of the practices that are done in the Caribbean today are also done on the mainland and over from Europe. Interesting. The celebration of a wild man. In case you don't know who a wild man is, let me show you. Here is a depiction of a wild man, a woodwose, holding the shield of a black nobility. This was during the Middle Ages in Europe. If you go into the book Ancient and Modern Britons, hold on one second. Sorry for jumping around so much, but as you see, Ancient and Modern Britons, let me jump into Ireland and Scotland, the British Isles, and we'll see the wild man that the inhabitants of the British Isles were warring with at one point. This is going into the Moors. This is going into the inhabitants of the British Isles, the early days. Let's see what it talks about. Their presence in the armorial bearings of ancient families, as I just showed you, talking about the wild men, can be due to the cause which made savages, wild men, or woodmen so common among the supporters of old North European and especially Scottish shields. The exploits of the founder of the family in the long conflicts of the people of the heathenese, wild man versus the Moors. And it goes into a description of these wild men of Europe and the swamps of Ireland and Scotland and the bogs over there and how they were just covered in hair and just covered in this nasty, this beast, literally beast men in a beast-like state. This is one of the most infamous, famous pictures, if not the most famous depiction or woodcut of the wild man versus the Moors in Germany. If we zoom in, you're going to see a bunch of Negroes with beards, bearded Negroes in a castle going against woodwose. And some people say the depiction of what they're wearing are not actual clothing, they're not actual uniforms, but it symbolizes the diseases that they're carrying into Europe and into the British Isles and into the black nobility's castles. They're coming in with the diseases. Look at how much taller and bigger and animalistic, covered in hair. They got claws carrying whole entire trees. Let's get back into the book. If Santa Claus really was St. Nicholas, a Negro, St. Nicholas, we know who he was. There's tons of videos on, shout out to this time of the year, people edifying and correcting what the true depiction and who St. Nicholas really was. Why is this shouting, hurricane flying and storming about? Why did his reindeer have such elemental names as Thunder, Donder, Lightning, Blitzen, and Comet? Why weren't they named Faith, Hope, and Charity? Why wasn't Santa's ride one of righteousness, tranquility, and somber hope instead of wild comet ride, an unleashing of powers with undertones of chaos? It was truly an enigma. Years of research confirmed that initial doubt. Santa Claus is an Americanization, all right, but not of a Catholic saint. Instead, Santa's forefather was very unsaint-like. Furry Nicholas, a major player in the winter festivals that have been transplanted from Europe to the rugged backwoods of Pennsylvania. But where did he come from, and why build a festival around a ragged-looking, half-wild fellow whose primary activity seemed to be snorting, stomping, and tearing things up? Our Santa is one of the last descendants of the long line of dark, sooty, hairy-covered men, the remnant of a pre-Christian god of awesome power. Our pipe-smoking, jolly old elf is only one offshoot of this old god. Throughout the millennia, this figure evolved in many ways and in many lands, adapting to new roles as society changed. Until today, there are remnants of the wild man from Russia to Britain to Japan to Greece, in ballet and movies, Beauty and the Beast, in Christian churches, and in shopping malls. No other being has had such a far-reaching influence on our modern culture. It goes into the well-known history of how Christmas became a profitable or a economic money money focused holiday. It goes into the history of that. It goes into the history of anything you can imagine, from Kringle to Saint Nick to the Wildman to the practices of worshiping the bear over there in Europe and in these super far eastern countries and stuff like that. Very cool. But just a reminder: don't be a wild man. Keep that tree in the forest. Keep the wild man off the gift cards. It's not that time of year. You're screwing yourself if you're really celebrating Christmas this year. You should know all this stuff by now. I'm going to leave some more captions of the screen up here, or the book up here. So if you want, you can take a screenshot of it, or you can pause it, take a screenshot of it, zoom in, or you can go look up the book yourself. It's relatively cheap. I think I paid $35 for my copy, and there's multiple PDFs online. So how did this turn into St. Nicholas? By the way, like I said, you're going to find many of these practices done in the Caribbean, and that the wild men over there were not, no, you can't say it was, oh, it's the white man, it's the white man. The wild men over there were black wild men. No influence of the white man at all on their stories of the black wild men. More screenshots. By the way, wasn't King Nebuchadnezzar said to be turned into something of a wild man? And I said in the beginning Bigfoot and Sasquatch and Missing Link, because I believe that a lot of the rumors of Bigfoot now are started just to be a constant missing link out there that they can constantly push evolution with. If Bigfoot can't be disproven or proven, evolution always has a missing link that could be out there, half man, half human, running around to prove that we came from monkeys and rocks and stuff like that. But also I believe that wild men are also cursed men, that could be possibly cursed men, that they did something. There's dog-headed men, there's types of other things that we don't know exist on this world, or why they exist on this world. So before I get too off topic, again, check this book out, Santa Claus, Last of the Wild Men. It's Christmas Eve. I thought I'd show this just to get you guys off of that and to remind you to not be celebrating these pagan holidays.